mean, do I look good? I'm just saying from that perspective.
Okay. Yeah,
like, I just want to know, like,
that.
do I look presentable, you know?
Breakfast Club quality.
I love it. Brought to you by Shade Room Breakfast Minnesota edition.
Yeah, this actually our first.
I'm excited to show my gift.
Yeah.
I gotta
you
wear
guys,
my
though.
gift. Okay, so welcome back to Eat and Talk, everybody. My name is Yusra.
And I'm Gilbert, and we're back with another episode of Eat and Talk.
We got some very, very special guests today.
And they brought us gifts.
We had to wear it like, I don't know if you guys could see it, but
I don't know.
we're representing Central today. You know, we said it's a Central takeover, Eat and Talk, and we got the CEO, the brains and beauty and everything behind it. So we're going to introduce our lovely guests, starting with my sister, Ayan. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for asking us to come. Actually, like, you know what's so crazy? Like, I remember, like, when you actually started this, I was like, yo, I really want to be on here.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
I
Thank
really
you.
did. I, like, literally asked Kirby. I told him, I was like, yo, I want to be on the show.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
tell her,
you.
ask her.
I'm honored.
Thank
we can make it happen.
Thank you.
I'm
I know
honored.
her. No,
Yeah.
she used to be my banker. No.
No, seriously. And then we got Kirby here, and that's actually how I met Kirby. You know, he got another business on the side, and we met through the bank. Ayan and I have known each other so long.
For a very long
We
time.
go way back, like 10, 11 years,
Yeah,
I think.
literally.
Mashallah. So, and then, so go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
Okay. Hi. How you doing? Sir Curtis Kirby the Third, but everyone just calls me Kirby.
Kirby Pocket? Or
Yeah.
Kirby?
No.
You related to
the
Kirby
third.
Pocket?
I wish I was.
Probably gets that all the
Yeah.
time.
So welcome. We're just gonna go right into it. We like to start off by getting to know you. We want our audience to know you. So let's start with your background, Ayan. Who are you? Where did you grow up? And
Me
tell
first.
us about Just tell
Yeah,
us about yourself. Yes,
don't be
girl,
humble.
you,
I always
girl.
tell my guests,
You're the reason we here.
don't
You
be
on the hot
humble.
seat today.
Don't be
You're the reason
humble.
why we here, right?
Exactly.
So, like, where should I, like, start from?
Okay, so tell us, where did you grow up? Who are you? What's your background? What's your ethnicity?
You
Okay,
asking her too
so-
many questions.
I know,
yo.
it's okay.
Like,
We don't get into it.
But, you know
All
what's
of
crazy?
it.
Like, I actually love to share. Like, I like people
Go
to,
ahead. We
you know,
got time.
We got time.
We got time.
So my name is Derartu Ayantu Jamal Abdullah. I'm half Roma, half Somali.
Can you say the name again because you lost it?
Derartu Ayantu. It's hyphenated. It's actually like I have two first names. Jamal Abdullah. Like I go by Ayan. It's just easier. My mom always wanted to name me Ayan, but you know I'm Oromo too, so
Shout out to
Very
Oromo's.
unique name.
Shout
Very
out to
unique.
Somalis.
yeah. to both,
Yeah,
right?
I love it. So where'd you grow up?
And I was born on a refugee camp in Kenya, and I came here when I was about a month. Yeah, we came to Minnesota, and I've been here ever since. So I grew up in St. Paul. I'm from St. Paul.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay.
And and then I moved to the burbs, went to Woodbury, and
So you speak Swahili?
no,
No.
I don't. I was born on a refugee camp.
Oh, okay.
So and I left when I was a month old, so it didn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
give-
yeah.
like
Oh.
influence me at all,
Yeah.
pretty much.
okay.
But
That's what's up.
Don't be humble. Keep going.
I know. Okay, so what else?
So what school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Stillwater
Okay.
area high school.
We played you guys in football. I went to Forest Lake.
You went to Forest Lake? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Forest Lake. We played you guys in football.
I know, but Stillwater is so far. It really was like an experience in the sense that like
That's true.
there was. I remember when I graduated class of 746, and I was the only like Muslim person, and there was
Wow.
one Oromo guy. And I like my last name's Abdallah, so I walked like right away. So I was like sitting there through like 700 people, but I just knew like in high school that's when I realized that I wasn't like different, but like you know you actually want to be around people that you know like look like you. So it really took a toll on like how I interacted with people. So as soon as I turned 18, I was like determined that
be
I
out.
was gonna build like some sort of like community because I felt like a emo like you know like loner in a sense because nobody could like understand me, you know. So I feel like that's what kind of like ties into like Central as well.
That's a perfect getaway because that was the number one question. And Gilbert asked me, he was like, what does Central mean? I was like, I'm going to let Ayan answer that. Before we get into a little bit, Kirby, also tell us about yourself. Where'd you grow up?
Kirby
Where
Pocket.
were you?
Kirby Puckett.
That's the only one I'm gonna remember that from now on. It's Kirby.
As long as I get the free,
Hey, I got you.
Kirby, man. I grew up here in St. Paul. I am Ojibwe, which is indigenous. I'm also Latinx, and I'm half African American. And so my dad
the
grew
best
up
of all
yeah,
worlds.
best of
Love
all
it.
worlds. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
tri. So my family grew up right here. I've been here in St. Paul ever since. That's why I gave her the whoop whoop. You know, I think that's why we kind of like get along because we're both from St. Paul, and like St. Paul is like a very like hometown type of place, and so it's crazy. Like a lot of even like our models or like people that we work with are like St. Paul
St.
based,
Paul.
and yeah, like
Love
Ifra,
it.
you know, shout
Yeah.
out to her.
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah, and so I grew up with my grandmother. My mom had me at 15, and so I grew up with my grandma since the day I came home from the hospital. And I've been
Shout
with
out to
her-
grandma.
Yeah.
Shout out to her for
Yeah.
real. Grandmother's love
Yeah,
for real.
yeah, grandma's
And
love.
so I grew up with her, and she's a very artsy person. She's a very creative person and things like that. And so like I got like a lot of culture from her. I got a lot of like who I am, you know. And then I got like all the other stuff from my dad. No. No, shout out to my dad. I love him. My parents are both actively in my life. I grew up with them on the weekends and things like that. And so I think I had like, talking about growing up with best of both worlds, like we lived in Highland Park, and that's like a very prestige neighborhood, I guess, in St. Paul. And then my parents grew up in Frogtown. So it's like every weekend I went over there and I like got the best of. So I'm just a kid that grew up all over St. Paul, that grew up playing football. Like you, I played football from 3rd grade through college. I was in Metropolitan Boys Choir growing up. So we traveled like from Canada to Chicago to wherever doing like national anthems and stuff like that. And I just grew up in the arts, so
Keep going. This is
yeah.
what I mean. Don't be humble.
Yeah.
Don't be humble.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
going. Let him know.
Yeah, I grew up in the arts and things like that, and that's so like me and Ayan, like that's how we like when she was like working on Central, I let her talk about it a little bit more, but it's like I didn't even originate, it wasn't even in the plan, but she was like, I'm gonna make clothes that, cause like I'm a big guy, you know what I mean? So often like I don't have like drip to fit me, you know what I mean? I'm like, I want.
But you stayed
Yeah,
dripped out.
yeah, thank you, yeah. And then, shout out to my hat, Self-Made, shout out to my little,
Oh, yeah, shout out to Self-Made,
Self-Made,
yeah.
you work with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to be able to like wear stuff that I like, that, you know what I mean? And she was making, I was like, what's up? Yeah. Let me in the game, coach. You know? But I'll let her talk about it more.
I love it. Yeah, let's get into it. What does Central mean? How did you come up with the name first?
So I think like I really like love Central.
Yeah.
But
it.
so I kind of want to like go back to kind of like really explain like what it like really means and like why like it's such like a driving force for like us to like you know like why we're always pushing it. But so remember how I was like, oh, you know, in high school I was really like alone, but I was like very determined to create like some sort of like community, right? And I feel like all of us as people, like we all have something that we're like good at, right? So because of the way that I grew up, I didn't really have someone to like kind of push me to like, okay, like you could be like the best student, or you could be like the best basketball player, because I love basketball. But you could be like the best anything. You need some like a team or like someone to kind of like motivate you. And I never had like that. I wanted to be like really good at something. I wanted to be like the best at something. Like I wanted to be like a champion, you know. And there's some person, anything that you do, like if you want to be a doctor, you got to be the best doctor. If you want to be like a basketball player, be the best basketball player, you know. So it's like I'm like I got to find something that I'm good at that I can like call myself a champion and be the best at that, you know. So it's like, and I also wanted to make sure that I could find something that would allow for me to like express myself. So Central is really, really not about like material, like anything that has to do with clothes. It just so happens that we have some dope, like, you know, dope clothes, you know, like dope like gear.
I can't wait.
But it's never about like, you know, the clothes that you're wearing. It's about like, you know, like the message that we want people to understand, because, you know, like obviously we're all human beings, we're all people, and we all go through things. And I feel like if there's a way for all of us to like be able to relate to each other, that's what I want, you know. And so Central came from me finding purpose, because as human beings we all have a purpose, you know. So if you guys look at like the circle like that you guys have on the so it's a compass, and it faces northeast, because I know
That's right here.
without a simple or any doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and my religion is my purpose. So that arrow faces northeast, because we face, that's the way that we pray, you know. But like I always remind people, like it's never about, like it's not a brand for like the religion, it's a brand that makes sure that we push people to find like their purpose, you know. So I know that's my purpose. I know that's what motivates me in life. I know that's what gets me through everything, you know. But I also wanted to make sure that we that also represented like pushing other people to find their purpose. And the S stands for like Saria, because Saria is my niece, right?
Yeah,
so it's
she's
like
so cute, you guys. She's the cutest.
I love my niece. She's the absolute best. So she is like raised by like myself and but really like her mom and like my whole entire family, like my mom, my brother, like my sister, like, and I just want her to know that she can do anything in this world that she wants to do, you know. So it's like the reason why the S stands for Central is because I want to like be able for people to understand like that you can inspire other people, and she's like a literally like a living proof of like that inspiration, and that's why it represents her. Like a long time ago, my brother told me, shout out to my brother, he was like, if you anything that you do in this world, right? I mean, when I was picking the name specifically Central, he was like, make sure that it has truth behind it, because if it has truth behind it, then there's no way that it cannot be successful. So that's why I feel like Central has you know, something very special behind it. But yeah.
Can I model for you?
You know what's crazy? People ask us all the time, and yes, you can. I love when people ask.
Yeah.
And I'll go into Central a little bit because I think she touched on like the overall arching purpose. You know what I mean? But she didn't really give you like everything, and so I'll give you a little.
She's
bit
being
of that.
humble.
Yeah, she's being humble, but you don't gotta be humble.
So I'll dive deeper into it. And so how it happened was even like Central, it's like stands for balance. Like if you think about Central control system, you know what I mean, the center. You know what I mean? Like it's balance. You know, if you look at a circle, like it's balance. You know, and like that's why you have like the going through it like that. And also too, just like I think she said, it's not just, it's about her purpose. So she knows her purpose is, you know, it came like when finding her religion, you know. And also like I grew up Native American culture, and if you ever see like there's this medicine wheel that you'll see out there, and it's like cut in half, it's like this and this, and it has like 4 different colors on there. It has black, white, yellow, and red, and all of them stand for something like physical, mental, religion. You know what I mean? There's a balance. Like it's about, and if you take one of those pieces away from the circle, right, the circle doesn't operate. If you take away the religion, you're gonna be lost. You know, if you take away, if you don't worry about your physical, you're gonna be, you know, you're gonna die early. You know, there's all these different things, you know, that will happen. You know what I mean? And so it's like, even when you look at the circle, everyone has to be able to look at that circle, and circles are whole. Circles are strong. You know, you have to look at that circle and have to know that it means something to you. You know, and that's why we wanted to make something that was just like base. Like the first time when you looked at it, like I think this logo right here, as you see on this little man's shirt, people were like, what is that? A basketball with a thing around it? Like you can see it's a compass, but like people were like wondering what. So we thought about like Nike, Adidas. You see like his brand. It's like very a check, 3 swooshes, and so that's why like even on her shirt you see on our necks right now, it's very simple. Like we want to just break it down, but how it all became is that Ayan's once she focuses her mind on something, she just can't stop. And so I remember she used to have this journal, and she was just writing down all these names, and so it was originally Blue Central. But then us thinking like being business-minded people, again, we're like, how far does Blue Central push us? You know, how far we wanted something central is something that can go in, you know, we want people to question what it is. Just like you question like, what is Nike, what is Adidas, what is, we want that, you know. And I think there's a lot of brands out there that are made just for the times now. But when she was designing it, because like I'm an art director as well. I direct at Pangea World Theater. And so I was like thinking of like what's going to push us like further, or her at the time. It wasn't even me in it. I was like, what's going to make it last? And I was like, drop the blue, just make it Central. And so like that's how that came.
Shout out to you for that.
You know what I mean? Because I was just trying to see her win. And how it really started is that she had a brand, and we're not even gonna name no people, but she had a brand. This started with somebody else, and they dropped her, and they created another local brand that's here in the city too. And shout out to them too, doing their thing. You know what I mean? But she was just by herself, and her mom asked her one day, and she was like, so what's up with your brand? And you know, like to get your mom's blessing to do anything, that's everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like when she did that, I'm like, yo, what's up? Like we finna do this or not? Yeah. And so like, and she was like trying to get like different, like how we got the symbols. Like we were like writing people on IG, Pakistan, Indonesia, all types of
like
places.
The person that actually created our logo, I've never met them. I found them on Instagram. I just like, I love to do research, right? So like even when we were like picking the name, I went and I Googled every single brand, literally Giorgio Armani, freaking everything, Versace, right? How did I get the name? How did Nike get the name? But all of it's like people's names, right? No, like real like names, right? Yeah. And like Nike like is like the temple in like Greece or whatever, like all these things.
Yeah, that's another thing too that you just said that about like the brand, like all this Giorgio Armani, Mercedes, they're all last names.
Yeah, like they're all real
Gucci,
people.
Yeah.
So then that's why I was connecting it to like my brother, and what he was saying was like,
as for Sharia.
So then it was all like, he was like, he's like, you're saying Central, but where's the truth in it, right? So I'm like, okay, he's like, that's got to be Sharia, right? So I'm like, you know what, like that's why I like hope to inspire, right? And then she hopes to inspire someone else. So after doing all that research, I was like, yo, like it has to absolutely mean something and hold like absolute truth. So that's how we like picked Sentrol.
This is why I sent.
it.
This is why I sent you the
love
picture
it.
that we had to get on here. This
I
is
love
why.
it. No, this is awesome, and we can understand like how that and the way that you guys balance each other too. I think Gilbert and I can relate for sure, like building off each other's ideas. So, so you guys ended up starting the brand. So tell us about some obstacles that you faced, because we like to highlight that not everything is perfect, And we as business, especially when you're Black Muslim woman, we love to show the outcome. Like, hey, we did it, we have this, but like we go through so much. Tell us about some obstacles for any young women who are watching you today, about some things that you went through and how you overcame it.
I think when I was thinking about Sentrol, it really was. I'll tell you why. I created like a shirt for this event, the Somali. There was like a bombing that happened, and I think we were raising money, and they asked me to do the shirt. So when I did the shirts, it was just so successful, and I was all like, yo, listen, I'm gonna need like a crew neck, and I have really broad shoulders, I think it's like the OG in me,
big old
so it's always so hard for me to find something to wear, and I was like, yo, I'm about to start a crew neck line, and then it kind of went from like crew neck to like, let's like, just an overall brand, because I really thought about like, who do I want to like target, and I was all like, I could either make like a bunch of scarves, or I can make skirts, or I can make like something that's very specific to people, or I can try and get to everybody. And that's what I wanted, so I was like, I'm not gonna limit myself
unisex brand.
I wanted to be very universal, so for anybody to relate to. So, and I feel like with the obstacles that I think that I faced was really believing in myself, and like I remember like when we first started, I'd always like compare myself like Sentrol to like other people, and Kirby was like, Ayan, if you are worried about someone else, that means you are not thinking about Sentrol. So I had to like check myself and be like, listen, I said, whatever people do, like if you go into a store, you see a cereal, like the cereal aisle, right? There's 20 different cereals. There's a space for everybody. And once I understood that, I was like, I'm gonna give Sentrol full force, And I think like another hard thing would be like the whole process,
exactly.
It's really like, it's like everything, like you don't know like who's gonna like make like the best clothes.
Exactly,
you don't know like like if people are gonna work with you. Like I remember when I always told them, I was like, hey, like I want to do like photo shoots, you know. And I remember our first photo shoot, who showed up?
One girl showed up.
One girl showed up out of the people that we asked. Yeah, so shout out to the my dog. I would never forget her because she was the only one that showed up.
Yeah, we all asked a bunch of girls we knew, a bunch of people, like, and it was just like she was the only one.
You guys missed out.
Everyone was canceling left and right.
You guys missed out.
Only one girl showed up.
And now everyone wants to model for you.
And now everyone.
Now Gilbert wanted to model.
I didn't show up, but I wanted.
And the people that showed up, like my niece, obviously she's a model,
Yeah.
But like my cousins, like her brother, his brother, our photographer.
Sadat, the one that made this hat, like
Sadat model, and it was someone else's brother. Whose brother was it?
My brother, both of your brothers.
Shout out to family, though.
So it's just like our family, And it's
Saria was in there, we done came a long way. This is
right, mashallah, that's amazing. And then one thing about Ayan that I want to shout her out is that like she's always supporting other people. Like
she taught me that.
She's always supporting. Like when I first started my business with my two best friends, like she really supported us. Came to our pop-ups. Both of you guys did. Like she's always shouting out other Black businesses. Every time I'm on social media, she's supporting someone. So shout out to both of y'all, honestly, for supporting other Black businesses. So
before we even had a business, let me keep this real. Like anytime, like our city is so behind on shit. Like I'm gonna keep it real. Like like everything that we're doing, like we're behind. You know what I mean? So like we're trying to catch up, and I think we're doing a great job. Like look where we're at right now. We're on a podcast, right? This is our first podcast.
Yes.
Thank you guys for coming.
Like I'm really happy that you guys.
No, it's a vibe. Even though I'm sitting here right now, and so thinking about the vision, it's like, like we're behind. You know
this is first of many. Y'all is not behind. Y'all about to be on a lot more podcasts as you guys, get big. And you guys honestly did a staple for Minnesota. Like you guys were one of the first people to start this. A lot of like sweater, clothes, fashion trends happen after you guys. Like you guys been around. So so we want to go into that. So you guys have had 4 drops, right?
Yeah. So like we this is the 4th season, second part of Dreamer, right? right? So, but it's the 4th season, and the seasons we count it by our pop-ups. This is our 4th pop-up that's about to come up.
That's
so
so
it's like
wow.
so this is a
So tell us about like that journey. Tell us
I
about
know.
your first pop-up. What clothes you had curated then
Yeah.
up until now. Tell us about how it and how you guys come up with each
Man,
season.
when we first got, we were online. We was just looking for blanks. We was just trying to like figure out like how can we get good quality and like that's me. Like that's my job. Like if you don't know behind the works, like I'm like the person that's trying to reach out to
That's
manufacturers.
a good. Yeah, we should have asked like
I'm
what's
trying
your
to,
role? Yeah.
Ayan is like the people. She
Yeah.
is like for real the people. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like behind the scenes. I'm just like artsy, just trying to get shit done, and just like reaching out. Like always like think about the quality. Like this is gonna wash nights. I promise. You know what I mean?
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I feel it. It feels so nice.
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
does.
And so, you know, like just like we both have our separate roles and things like that. And I think like we've also had a lot of people help us. You know what I mean, along this journey and like get where we were. And so like the first time we were just grabbing clothes, trying out different people, and like just trying to get things stamped. We were figuring out like in every way along the journey, we've had people help us. Like shout out to Moosey, the real 9229 on IG, you know what I mean? Follow him. Go Get It Tobacco. Like he had a place called the Gallery, and it was just like this underground little spot that to kick it. And we had our first.
we had
our first pop-up there.
Shout out to Lucy.
Yeah,
for
shout out to
sure.
Lucy for that.
Yes.
Because he's like really one of the first. Like I feel like there's other people doing business, but he's like always believed in business. Me and him been friends since we were 14 years old, and we're 33 now old. I'm gonna shout out my age on here, so none of you youngins follow me. No, but yeah, he was one of the first people talking about like business back when I didn't even believe in business. And then like our next pop up, you know, shout out to Nabil and Hamza and them. They let us use Gold Room for like close to nothing. They were like, you know, just make sure that you take care of our staff, and we did that, you know. And so I think each way we just keep on growing, and we always try to figure out like how to topple that. And Ayan's like the marketing genius, so I'll let you talk about like that and like, you know, reaching out to the people, how people support us. And
yeah, so what I like was trying to do was like at the end of the day I want to reach we want to reach everybody, right?
Yeah.
So like even like with our first pop-up, like, you know, Moosey like allowed us to have the our pop-up at the gallery, and up until that point like we're still trying to learn like how we're going to be able to present this to people, right? Because people are like asking us like, oh, like clothes, like we want your clothes and stuff like that, but you'd never know how it's going to turn out. And to this day, I will never forget our first pop-up. It literally was so unbelievable because so many people came, and then they also like would buy our clothes and then put it on. I was like,
Right
like
there.
they really
Like,
want to wear it.
smart.
They're like putting on the hats and putting on the sweaters. I was like, oh my god! Like,
but we also
so
had a
cool.
photo shoot at our first
And then
pop-up.
we also
wanna
like
be different.
and I always wanted to like find ways to like incorporate other people, right? And also like what makes Central like different, like how could we like stand out? So like our first pop-up also had a photo shoot, so like anybody could go and like take pictures.
That's
and
smart.
up until
Very
that
smart
point,
marketing.
yeah, so up until that point, we like had like 4 photo shoots, right? But we never had like a pop-up. There was no way for people to like access our clothes. So after that, you know, then we just started doing, you know, pop-ups. And it's so much fun because you get to like connect with people. Like I told, like, you know, I believe in people and community so much that I promise you, my first pop-up, I'll never forget anybody that stepped into that door. They gotta thank you very much for coming and giving me your time, because you don't have to do that for anybody, you know. But it's like I made it like very apparent that I was gonna be like very present and very like, you know, like, you know, you're getting my attention because I got your time, you know.
So where did you get the ideas for the pop-ups? I'm like,
oh, so basically, we didn't know how to get people to like have access to our clothes, and I just felt like
you could do e-commerce, you could do all that, you know.
and it's just
too
more
much work.
fun.
It's too much
You know,
work.
we honestly didn't know that it would work out the way that it has been, because like now
shout
it's
out
not like,
to
yo,
you.
such a
Yeah.
pop-up is about to come up. Like it's always a vibe, right? And our photo shoots always a vibe. But I'm telling you, community is it. Like you want to be around good people. You want to create a space where people can come together and like feel good. Like that's all I've ever wanted, right? Because of high school, whatever, you know. But it's like being able to do that. Like I always want to do that. So a pop-up was always like in our like.
And I believe like what like however like what you do like gets paid forward. Like that's
true.
happened in my life.
That is very true.
And like I like shout out to Studio 23 too, Mo over there.
Yeah.
Because why I say that is because he tried to do like he tried to open up a place that was like it's like turned into a workout place or something. It was across the street from him, and he teamed up with some other people, and he did a pop-up. And me and Ayan went, and I like bought a sweater, and like me, like I lost the train of thought earlier. But, like me before, like if I heard of a pop-up, like I know LA, New York, they do pop-ups, Chicago, they do pop-ups, but like we're behind, like once I said like again. So like pop-ups are not like, people do like events, but they're more like just like more towards like nonprofit, more towards like it just didn't feel like pop-up vibes, like music, streetwear, like you know how we wanted to represent, you know what I mean? And so I remember like we would go to a pop-up and like wherever pop-up we go to, I'm like I stop at the ATM, I grab $200, I'm gonna spend the whole $200.
Oh, that's what's
no
up.
matter what, because I believe like no matter what, ask her, like no matter what, I believe in that because it's like I know how hard it is. Like before we even had a brand, I know how hard it is to get anything off the ground and for people to believe in you. Because there's like niggas I know for 10, 20 years that act like they ain't never wore a Sentrol sweater, and I'm just shocked. They know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not even about that, but I just want them to know, like, if you show by example and you support everybody that drops something, you go to everybody's opening. I think like that's what we got to do as a community to move forward. And so I think our pop-ups have like now I see pop-ups all the time. I see people in the Mall of America, like shout out to Underdog, shout out to
them.
Yeah, shout out to them. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the brands that are doing those things because like that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to inspire. We're just trying to move stuff forward. You know what I mean? It's like both. I remember like we was trying to get in the game like. You were talking about like struggles, like I know people that got brands, that got things, and I'll be trying to get like clothing or manufacturers, and they're like, "Oh, I put the order in for you," or "I got."
Oh, like
you
they
like
wouldn't
that.
like to give us any.
Yeah, like they're not like helping us. So like anybody that hits us up on IG or anything,
we're gonna tell you everything.
We'll tell you exactly where I got my stuff printed, exactly where I got my clothes, exactly where all the things. You know, it's like that's the only way to move us forward.
So have you heard of Supreme?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Are you going like I kind of you kind of remind me of them because
Can I tell
Supreme.
Like you have to get inspiration, right?
Yeah,
like
of course.
I'm telling
like
you,
Kobe.
I used to tell everybody
I
all
like
the time.
that. Yeah.
Shout out to Kobe, my favorite basketball player.
Yeah.
But all the time I'm like Supreme is I want to be Supreme better
What
than
are you?
Supreme.
What
Better than Supreme. I would talk to the guy that like shout out to Chucky, he's pretty dope. He would like help me like create the website, you know? So like I'm like, yo, listen, compare this. Like I do like a lot of research. So Supreme is like number one, like was always on my mind. I was like, I gotta.
That's why I see the pop up. I was like, this reminds me of Supreme because Supreme is like
kind of limited.
They wake up one day and then they do a drop and then it's out.
Even that, like every pop up we had, we only left like 5 days before we told people. So like, say we're gonna pop up on Saturday, we tell them on Monday.
Yeah.
Like that's that real pop up element. Like why?
That's
like
pop up.
Clear
Like you popping
your
up.
schedule, dude.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're changing the game, bro. You're changing the game.
You gotta take, and I think you gotta admire things. Like there's a lot of brands out here that we've seen. Like shout out to ORR, you know what I mean? Shout out to
OGs in the game.
Yeah, OGs in the game because we drew inspiration from them.
Yeah.
Even like shout out to Captain Rebel, shout out to all of them. Really, because like if there's not them, there ain't no us. You know what I mean? If there ain't no, you know what I mean? And so it's like if there's no us, there's no other brands coming up. And so we're trying to just make sure that we like pay homage to those who came before us, but also like do our thing and like create lanes and inspire others. And like I remember Kobe said once in the day, like he was like, I take a move from everybody. Like everyone said, oh, he plays like Michael Jordan. He plays like so and so. I remember him like, oh yeah, I stole the floater from CP3 after. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, we're going to take a little bit of what we see is good over here, take a little bit, you know. And then also with our, creative minds, we're going to, try to do some new shit.
Yeah, I love it. So kind of going back into your season, so you started the Dreamers edition.
Okay.
So tell us how'd you get into Dreamers? What is that? I love how excited she gets when
because I feel like, every time we would pick something that had to do with like Central, it has to pertain to our life.
Yeah.
And I feel like again we're going back to the truth, right?
Yeah.
So I remember like when we first were doing pop-ups and like our photo shoots, we didn't have like collection based, like we weren't like naming things or I feel like once we did higher education and like what motivated that because we were like we're gonna drop our collection. At the time I had to higher education before we get to Dreamer.
Yeah.
But so with higher education,
and that was the first.
That was like the first like collection season that we actually like named and we like really stuck with it. Like it really inspired like this is actually from higher education. But it came from like my mom, I remember on my 24th birthday, I called her, I said, yo, it's my birthday, Africans, right? And she was like, man, I can't believe I was in this country for 24 years and I never went to school, right? So when she said that to me, like, I knew that, like, why I was going to school, like, I'm like, I don't have, like, businesses for no reason, you know what I'm saying, without actually having a college degree, but I will this December, alhamdulillah. But I realized that, like, in life, you don't learn from just going to school and having a master's and a bachelor's and a PhD. You really learn
want to
from your
return my degree.
experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I really want to
So
return my degree.
I wanted to make sure that people understood that, like like because the African mentality, like because if you have a degree or not does not define your success.
Yeah.
So I had to take it out of my head, and once I took it out of my head, I was like, hey, like I'm gonna do anything and everything that I want to do, and I want to make sure people understand, like you are like basically control of what makes you a champion and what makes you like very successful.
Absolutely.
And then that led to the Dreamer.
And then that's a dreamer.
Dream, believe, achieve. Are you looking at me to talk?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's like, come
Yeah.
on now.
I said what I said. I said what I said.
Now you take over.
Yeah, but it's like me too. Like I think we all have like things that got us here. Like my grandma. Shout out to her. Like you said, Forest Lake in a jog. She just bought like 10 minutes from there. She's bought like 40 acres. You know what I mean? And like shout out to her because she's like someone that started on a 2-bedroom, northern Minnesota, 90 minutes from Canadian border. You know, 18 brothers and sisters, was put in foster care from like I think the age of 3 to 6 or something like that. You know, and now she has like housing, housing for people with disabilities right in South Minneapolis. An organization called Indigenous Peoples Task Force that like helps people like anything from like we got a new thing called Indigent Baby that's coming out that's like organic baby food for babies, like no additives, no preservatives, squash, blueberries, wild rice, like all the indigenous foods to
the stuff that our grandparents used to make.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, like she like embodies like a dreamer to me. And I think like Ayan, like her mom and her dad getting her mom like raising all her brothers and sisters, like no matter how you look at it, it's like a part of being a dreamer. You know what I mean? And dreamers about doing, believing, achieving, you know what I mean? And it's like you gotta do stuff. Like I think a lot of people are in their heads and they like oh I can't do this or I you know, but I have seen so many different people that are here. Like we're just like got in here and like shout out to Kuta again, you know, one time because he's been here since like 2010 and like look what he's achieved in those 10 years, like with passion, drive, you know, like everybody I talk to him feels like they know him, you know what I mean? And like that, you know.
Me and my brother, we've been rocking with Kuta.
Yeah, exactly. You know, been rocking him since the beginning, you know what I mean? And now he has like 2 shops. I remember he said something to me. He was like, I don't want to just be like the best celebrity barber, you know. I don't want to just be the celebrity barber, you know. Yeah. He was like, I want to have K signature everywhere. I want to have schools. I want to have. So it's like dreaming bigger than what's what's right in front of you, what social media puts in front of you, what, you know. And I think like that's our goal. Our goal is to like do anything that we see. We're gonna start building steps because it takes steps to get there, right? In order, when you're dreaming, you got to take those steps. You got to write it down on the board. We have this big board right now. Shout out to our interns back there. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, they help us so much. Like this is like Ayan, I think said about team. I think a lot of people think I achieve by myself, but it's really I achieve with a team. And when you do it with a team, you know, they can help you set because their vision is different. You know, if all of us sit in this room, you know, someone has an idea. Listen to that idea. You know, take hold of that idea. How can you work with that idea? You know what I mean? Instead of like all of us like being separate, what do you call it? Those silos. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times communities are silos. Like tribal, community, this, that. You know what I mean? But it's like if we come together as people, you know what I mean? We're gonna achieve a lot more. And so I think with the Dreamer Collection, we wanted to just again rebrand ourselves. And I think dreaming is it's not just a collection anymore. I should stop saying it. It's like more of like a series, like a never-ending series that because we don't never want to stop dreaming. You know what I mean? And within that, we became Central World. So we're not Central Apparel anymore. So we're rebranding ourselves to Central World because we want to talk about topics like water issues. You know,
from
mental
Blue
health.
Central to
Central
World.
Nice. I hated the apparel. I can't lie. You know, but I knew because like I would go on like Instagram and you know and everything, and I couldn't get like the Central by itself. So I was like, okay, whatever, we're gonna do apparel. I just thought it would be better to have two, but I knew I'm like apparel gotta go. So then we were like, yo, we're gonna rebrand. We're gonna figure out like you know what do we really want Central to be like based on, and what do we really want it to be like, what we want it to represent. And I remember like being a kid, I'd always be like, oh, I really want this. I gotta ask God. I want it. You know, like when you're like a kid, like you know, kids are so special because like nothing can like really like take away their like ability to like think that they can do anything, right? They're like, oh my God, let me go touch that, and then they go and then they fall, whatever, right? But it's like that's how I felt like I always was like, I really wanna, you know. And so like with Dreamer, I always felt as if I was always a dreamer, you know. Like I believe that you know there's nothing in this world that anybody cannot attain as long as you try, right? You just have to try first, and then you can like you know, attain that. And at the time, Kirby was starting the hype with, you know, with my cousin and a friend of ours, AK and Yasser. And like I, you know, work with kids that have autism, and I always like wanted an autism center. So I began doing that process, and I was like, yo, like, we're like dreamers. We're like believers and achievers, right? So it's how like, that's what like influenced like the Dreamer collection. So the first part, like, we remembered like when like I pay attention to like a lot of detail, so it's like you want to make things like very repetitive so people can like retain it, you know. So it's like we're so used to Adidas and Nike because Adidas and Nike are everywhere. That's right, true. So it's like with the Dreamer, everyone kept asking us about Dreamer. They're like Dreamer, so we were gonna start a different collection called Peace of Mind. And then I remember like Musi asking Kirby about like the Dreamer collection, and then we're like, yo, like let's finish this, like and we're not even gonna finish it, we're gonna continue it, you know. So that's what led into like how we were gonna rebrand. And I remember like all of our photo shoots, we've never ever actually had people try on clothes before they come to our photo shoots. They would try it on that day. So like before, like we'd like show them pictures and stuff like that, but they never like tried on the clothes before. So once we then Kirby was like, let's have a fitting, and then it just changed everything. Like, it's just something about this collection.
This is why we have this platform, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, the fitting was crazy, and that's like always. You should always add something to your bag, add something to your game, right? Like, don't just keep on doing the same thing over and over. So like, if we kept on just taking sweaters and printing them, and like, and nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like everything. Like, we want to pay attention to detail. Like everything that you see when it comes to the clothing and all that, it's going to be different. It's going to be enhanced. It's going to be
have a meaning
better.
behind
and
it.
have a meaning behind it. And so that's when we did the fitting. It like turned out. I work with youth. You know what I mean? I have like 4 jobs, but one of my jobs is working with youth, and I teach them theater. Because I think theater does a lot for you. It teaches you how to speak in front of people. It gives you confidence. It gives you poise. You know, poise, projection. You know what I mean? All those things. And so, I remember like every time when you're working with kids like from the hood, I work in shout out to East Phillips neighborhood, you know what I mean? Right in the middle where a lot of things happen. Like, I mean, we had Tent City out there a couple of years ago. I mean, George Floyd is not too far from there. Like, everything that the South Side feels, we feel that shit, you know what I mean? And so, but I think a lot of times they come from places where they can't speak or they don't feel comfortable. Like, no one's built them up to speak, you know? And so, like, my neighborhood, like, especially the Native American kids, are behind. And so when I start a group every day, we sit down in a circle and everybody speaks. Everybody, you know, says how their day is for, what do they want to go better in this world. That's how I start every day. I love it. You know what I mean? Who are you? What are you? You know what I mean? And they announce who they are every day because I
Teachers
think
take notes.
Yeah. You have to get used to announcing yourself, right? You have to, you know, it's not about, I think sometimes there's this planned agenda, but you got to meet whoever's in the room. You got to figure out where you're at and meet them there. And so when we did this fitting, organically, my natural self, I was just like, yo, let's all sit down and introduce ourselves. And I swear the room was crying. Like, we got to the point where, like, you know, because we asked them all, like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you a dreamer?
Okay, we're going to go back. I'm going to go back.
I love that.
Yeah. We have to go back right before we get there. So, like, myself, Amira, and like Ifrah, she's like one of our models. We sat down, we got like this big old board. We wrote down everything that we wanted to achieve and like all the models, and we were like picking back and forth like what we were gonna do, blah blah. And we like basically had like an agenda of what we wanted, you know. And let me tell y'all, we literally checked off every single little thing off that list, which is like amazing. And so like normally like when we pick like the models, like I go like I feel like Central is its own entity, so like whatever I feel inside as Darartu Ayantu is irrelevant to Central. So it's like I'm a DM you, like I'm a hop in your DMs always, you know. So it's like we like homecoming queen, like Kirby and I like both like agreed, like we're like, yo, like we gotta get her.
No, she told me on the phone how crazy she's like, you know who we have to get? There's this girl we have to get, and I just was like, homecoming queen, because I just seen her like a week ago, and I was just like looking at her, and you know, you gotta go look up people and see like, are they who they really like, you know what I mean? Like you start trying to like dig deeper. I'm like, oh, she's an SSA, you know, she don't know. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, let's holler at her. You know?
And so she was like the first Somali like homecoming queen at the U of M, which is my school. Shout out to U of M. So I was like, yo, and she's a fencer as well. So I'm like, yo, we both were like, we have to get her. So like what I do is like I literally meet up with every single model and I speak to them and I tell them what Central stands for and I get to know them, because it's like in order for anybody could do a job, right? But it's like, but if you can connect with that person, you understand why someone's doing something, you're more likely to give it your all, you know. So that's why we wanted to be very personable and always like speak to all of our models. So when the fitting, like we decided to do the fitting, we were so nervous because we've never like had like we've never done it before. But I feel like that's when like everything just changed. Literally was like that day.
Yeah, because we don't know how like a traditional fitting goes, but we made our own fitting. You know what I mean? So we got everyone fitted, and then we sat in a circle and it was like, you know, people were talking about like, I'm here, like I'm only in, you know, like I'm here to make sure my family can come here. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. I'm here to interrupt the system. I'm here to do this, like, and so you had all these people, and like it organically worked that all the girls are on time. All the girls came right away, right? You know what I mean?
Well, they all had like time slots.
They all had,
just
we
picked the
gave
same,
them time
yeah.
slots, but all the girls, we were like, you can come from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock or whatever. You know, I'm just making that up. And all the girls picked 3 o'clock. All the niggas was like, oh, I'm gonna show up at like 5:30.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So it happened like all the women came and we all got in a circle and we did that. And like with the interns, with whoever was working on the project, my cousin was here. He was helping out. Like everybody sat in the circle and like they literally like it was just like such an emotional.
They became comfortable.
Yeah, they're comfortable, and then same thing.
Yeah.
Then the guys come through. You know what I mean? We get them fitted out. We sit in a circle. It's like if we did one thing, we should do another. So we sat in the circle, and then it's like, man, you learn about all these guys. It's like, yeah, I work in mental health. Yeah, I'm a father. I do this. Yeah, I'm an inspiring artist. Whatever. You know, you learn all these things about people, and you're like, man, we really got a good group of people in the room, and so it like becomes a team, and it's like
it turns into a family.
Yeah, and like when we're at photo shoots, like whatever idea they have, I'm like, let's try that. You know, whatever thing because it's not just our vision. It's like if you can build something bigger and people can look in the work and be like, oh, I see myself in that. I see myself in that work. You know, they're gonna want to be a part of it more instead of being like, I think I always like to say like the Western culture is such like a ladder. They teach you what they teach us is a ladder thing. It's like if we're both trying to get somewhere and all four of us are here, right? Then it's like, oh, I need to go up the ladder first. No, I need to go up the ladder first. I need to go up the fast. Now we're fighting at the bottom to try to get to the top, right? You know what I mean? We're all fighting at the bottom, so it's much harder when you're trying to get to the top when you're fighting with people, right? Yeah. But imagine how a ladder is, right? A ladder can also be turned sideways. You know what I mean? And like, what if you help like carry everybody on that ladder? And so everybody's like equally trying to get where they're going. And yeah, you might have like some ups and some downs. You know what I'm saying? But like, if we're all trying to get somewhere together and we're not fighting about it, then we're going to succeed. You know what I mean? I think a lot of our people still need to learn that. You know what I mean? And still learn how to carry each other and uphold each other because like that's what we try to do. You know what I mean? And so
I think I really like that in a circle everyone talks.
Yeah, that's really
like, I really like that. I feel like jobs can do that too.
Yeah, jobs
corporate world should do that.
Jobs,
during huddles.
Yeah, very comfortable. And I think
that's smart. Yeah, I like that.
Like with our fittings too, like we wanted to like tell them that like, you know, one, like as much as you guys are here like helping us with something, you guys are very much so helping us, you know, and you're inspiring us. And I feel like it was so like monumental in the sense of like, you don't have to tell me anything about yourself, even though we do want to know why you're a dreamer, right? But like they didn't have to share anything with us, but the fact that they did, like, you know, we knew like, okay, like maybe this is going in like the right direction, you know. So for like a week like span, we kind of had people like schedule like what days that they wanted to come. I remember like literally for like 6 days we were meeting with like, you know, like with different people. Like we'd have like Ifrah with us because she's a model, so we wanted them to like feel comfortable. Like, you know, anyone like Amira, like our like people would just like sit in on our like our meetings with like, you know, when we were meeting the models because we wanted to make sure that they were like very comfortable and they knew that like, yo, we're here to like, you know, like work together, like it's a collaboration, you know.
And they can sense that you guys are genuine for sure. Like right now wearing the sweater, I wanted to support regardless it's Central, but when you guys told me the meaning, like I feel different wearing it right now. Like, and that's kind of, I'm assuming the sense that you bring upon others when you guys bring them to your photo shoots or like your fittings and everything. So that's very important that you guys are able to create that space where they can trust you and it doesn't feel like a job, you know. It feels like they're coming up for fun, you know. So that's really important.
It should be a place to network. It should be a place to you know, grow and expand. Like, what do you like or discover yourself? Because I think like when you ask little kids when they're younger, I work with youth when they're like 11 and 10, they're like, you're like, who can dance or who can sing or what can you do? They're like, I can do whatever. Like they think they're poets, they think they're whatever, you know. But then you ask a 17-year-old, and they're like, maybe if they can sing a little bit, they'll say, maybe I can sing. Maybe they're mostly quiet. And that's a 20-year-old, and so on and so forth. By the time you get to your late 20s, like you're just going to work every day. You're just punching the clock. You know what I mean? You're not even doing what you thought you intended to do. You're not even being creative anymore. Like there's no creative bone in your body. It's like this. I watch people in my life go to work, go home, go to work, go home, go to work, go home, paycheck, 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 my whole life. You know what I mean? And so it's like that's the last thing that we want our community, our people to do is just to do the bare minimum. Because work is just something that we got to do. You know, everything else extras are the things that are going to push you into being a dreamer, push you into believing, and also, you know, setting up your family to, you know, be different. Like my grandma's about 40 acres. That's different. You know,
that's you next.
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
You bring him 50 acres next.
Yeah, 50.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about like in between your collections. What do you guys do in between planning it? And is it usually, do you guys have like a set time where like, okay, we're gonna do this every 3 months, or it's just kind of like whenever you guys are ready to present, then you guys are presenting?
I'll go and then I'll let you tap in.
Okay.
Man, that's our biggest struggle, I think, the in between. You know, and that's what we're trying to improve. Like, definitely, like, we're not gonna sit up here and act like we like got it all figured out, or like we know, like we're trying to improve. And like I think her little brother inspired me. Like my little homie Sadat, he be with me every day. He's only like 20 years old. He just turned 20, I think, right?
Yeah.
And November 21st. And he be like dropping little collections. It'd be like 12 pieces or just something like that, you know. And like he inspires me because I'm like, he be like dropping like, look, like this collection was just like a 12-piece collection. And I want to start doing more in between because like we're trying to figure out like how the factories work, how to get better quality, how to always drop something good, you know what I mean? But that would leave us in limbo.
Yeah.
And like people forget about us, people stop following us and things like that. And so it's been like a struggle of ours to try to like figure out how to do it, like the in between and like you know how to get better, but also tying into Sentrol World, right? We want to start tackling topics in our community. You know, water's a big thing right now. Only like it's like kind of like a Native American fight right now, but it should be an everybody fight because like you see what we got up here, water, right? You know what I mean? So we all need it. You know, and like once we all start caring about the earth, like, and so it's like we feel like we can help that. Like maybe like a certain group of people are like doing that. Mental health, like it's a stigma in our community. Like let's tackle that. You know, let's do small drops pertaining to that. You know what I mean? Overdose, addiction, like all these different things. Like my little cousin just passed away, and I think it's like a lot of people have passed away. You know what I mean? It's like how do we honor that? How do we not turn our head to that, or like you know make it, because it is a us problem because it could be your kid, it could be your cousin, it could be your anybody. And so I think in between collections, like that's why we're moving to Sentrol World. But I'll let you talk about the struggles and anything else you want.
Yeah, so I feel like I always like knew, like I said before, that like apparel had to go. You know, and I wanted it to like stand on something, and I feel like the in between and how we like create the collections, again, like he said, it's like it's very hard because you want to do something that you can stand like behind, you know. And one thing that we've always like said is like we're never gonna rush anything. Like we are not gonna stand behind anything that we do not think is the absolute best. You know, so I'm like for real about it because I'm like I'd rather be patient and wait months down the line.
Tell me a story about the pants. I'm laughing in my head. Remember the pants?
What pants?
The pants that we got with the zippers.
Oh yeah,
we got so much stuff that we've never dropped.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm laughing in our head. You know, because we didn't believe in it.
Literally, like I remember, like what's it called? Like Sadat again. You know, he's just everywhere. But Sadat basically, he was like, yo, like what's it called? Just asking me about like Sentrol and like the whole rebranding process and stuff like that, and like how like he's like, have you ever not released clothes? I said we have a whole miscellaneous box. Like I was like, we didn't created like shorts and pants that you'll never ever see and shirts that's never been released, but it's like, you know, it's okay because it's like we failed at it. It didn't work out, right? But however, we still kept going, like regardless, you know. So it's all like I know, like
we're
right now,
about to get that Dreamer season 4 collection.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
exactly.
You gotta keep pushing.
Yeah, so it's like we as like, you know, like the like Sentrol, you know, like I always was very sure about like I have to believe in it. Like I have, you know, people, you have to feel it in your heart. I gotta feel it in my heart, you know? So it's not like we never would ever push the process. We started the Dreamer, this part 2, like literally in like maybe January. But we were like for sure, like summer of this past summer, like it was like already done. But like it was like a whole, like how are we gonna execute this, you know? And make it like, you know, come to life and everyone to receive our message that we wanted people to understand.
I love it. Yeah, that's true. I remember like when we started African Beauty and like everybody would always ask us like, when are you guys dropping your website? And I remember Ayana one time asked me and then I was like, I don't know. And she was like, take your time, girl. She was like, be patient. It's okay. Take your time. It don't matter if it's now, next week, and next year. And I was like, that's very true because you want to present something that when you're ready and it's at its best and it's perfect and you're happy for it. So definitely, like I know that everything that you say, like you stand in and believe in and you go by it. So that is why I think Sentrol is definitely the GOAT. So
I have a question for you guys. So during COVID, did that affect business for you guys?
Oh, COVID. Yeah, that was crazy because like we were like, COVID was a crazy time because like, when did we drop that in like April or something? Or
higher education, I
May?
think we dropped it. We released it in April. So we wanted to do a pop-up before, but like obviously we couldn't because not everyone's on lockdown. So we released it on the website.
Yeah, it was crazy because life was crazy before us. Like right before this, like everything was like booming. Like we felt like we was on the right pace. Like I was doing theater. They were flying me out to Atlanta, New York, like all these things. Like she was like thinking about like opening a center. We were about to drop this collection. We were like, whoa, like we're doing our thing. You know what I mean? Like we live on pop-ups. We live on, you know, everything like that. And so we came and we were like, we went back and forth, like, should we do a pop-up? Should we not do a pop-up? Because, you know, African people were like, weren't really believing in this shit at first. They was like,
COVID ain't real.
They was like, black people ain't getting COVID. Now we at the highest rates. You know what I mean? So we was like wondering, should we do it or not? Should we not do it? And then we were working like, so we ended up didn't doing the pop up, and we ended up dropping the website.
Yeah.
And when we dropped the website, like it was crazy. Like
because you don't know if people are gonna buy it.
and it sold out. Like, you know what I mean? And like so like like the people keep on showing up. Like we don't even know how it happened sometimes. Like
because of who you guys are. That's
we
why.
done ship from like Toronto to Cali to like all over the place. Ohio, Somali capital.
Yeah.
Like, we know this is it. No,
Yeah. this is it.
Minnesota.
No, I'm just saying a lot of Somalis in Ohio though. But yeah, we be sending our stuff there too. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I think like, COVID affected us at first because we didn't know what to do. But then the people like they supported us. They came out.
That,
yeah,
you know, regardless of what happens,
Yeah.
I remember like at one point like we opened the website and it was like a couple orders, and then all of a sudden like 3:30 o'clock, 5 o'clock that day, like boom, like 30 orders went in like 3 hours. Like you know what I mean? It was just kind of like ding, 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 ding. We was like, dang, this is crazy because you never know. It's like the only time we ever really did something like with the website that was like for real. Like this is like our launch. You know what I mean? And they showed out.
So which drop so far has been like your most successful?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would say higher education, but I'm telling y'all, something about this Dreamer is just...
I can tell something about this Dreamer collection. I saw the logo on there. I was like,
it's just like, as soon as we rebranded, I felt like I just remember the day of the fitting. I will never forget, like that morning when I woke up to after everything happened. I just had like this like feeling of bliss, you know. It was like so euphoric. Like I just knew I was doing the right thing, you know. And so just the way that everything is just coming together, I'm like, I don't know. I think this is gonna be our best one. But higher education, I would say, is one of our best for sure.
Yeah, the people we worked with, the quality of the clothes, because
we finally got to like we have like our own cut, you know. So it's like we picked this, we picked how long it's gonna be, where it's gonna like stop, and the material, we picked everything, you know. So that was the first time that we were able to do that.
Yeah,
you know? So
and I think we're like doing things now
special.
and like just like hoping people rock with. Like if you don't know, like if you look at yours, like it's different because it wasn't done. Like if you look at the cut of it, like we cut off the bottom, and like we cut off the bottom so you could wear like a longer T-shirt onto it and like style it. And it's like I got another one for you, like a gray one like that. Like I was supposed to get you the gray one, but I ain't gonna lie, I ain't do it in time. His was done. I got his done because I give him a hard time. And so that's how mine's cut, and that's how we're gonna cut the whole collection because
that's unique.
We just want to be able to do different stuff, right? Like you know what I mean? Like we want people to like we want to make style and like hope people rock with it. And if you don't, then we're gonna give you something else. You know, like we still got T-shirts.
And it's versatile, and it's like you can match it with like so many things, and like you guys like your color schemes that you choose are. I mean, I was telling Anna, I was like, save me a brown one. Like,
it's already sold out. I ain't gonna lie, it didn't really drop it.
I was like,
we got a lot of requests, so show it because I remember we dropped the website. A lot of people were like, we went early that day. We checked the website. We were looking for the black one was the common color and the tan one. And we were like, we looked at the black and the tan and the higher education collection. They're like, we went back that night or the next day. It was sold out. So make sure you come pull up. You know,
and we're gonna drop the link, Instagram, website, everything on the bottom of this for sure. So. No, I love it. So we need to do a part 2 with y'all because I feel like I can go into so much more. But we always like to ask like our guests, what's one important piece of advice that you would give to youth, to women, men, whatever, people who are minority? What's an advice that you would like to share with people here that want to either start a business or, I mean, who are dreamers? I guess that's the best way to put it.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, she takes longer to process.
No, I can't.
She got to think of it.
No, she's a really, she's a critical thinker, boss.
That's good.
1, 2, I think that there needs to be more of whoever's not doing it, women, like, I love, like, sometimes, like, even, like, today we debated, like, should she just go on and do it herself or because I really want to highlight, like, women doing business, and, like, I think women are often the backbone of our families, our communities, like, shout out to Grandma earlier, shout out to, like, a lot of women are graduated at the highest rates in our communities, and I think they're overlooked, and so, 1, like, if you're a woman, don't be scared, like, if people can support you, because, like, the amount of, like, not just women, but guys that support her is crazy. Like, you know, like, they really come out for her. And 2, just, like, never stop. Like, it's not going to be your family. It's not going to be your closest people you grew up with. It's going to be other people that you inspire. It's going to be other people that you don't expect. You know, and, like, I guess that's the
strangers.
Best. It's going to be strangers.
Yeah. That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
You know, guys getting more strangers that support it?
Man, strangers. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's going to be, like, shout out to my family and friends that do. Like, I'm not calling out anybody, but I am. You know? Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's like so many random like strangers, like even like all these people in this picture, like I like Sadat, that's family and that's family. The rest of them I just met.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like they're down for it. And they're like
Yeah.
skincare line, model, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Entrepreneur, podcast. Like they all got their own things going
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so it's like, don't give up because your family didn't come buy your collection. Don't give up because so-and-so didn't come buy your candle or buy your book. Just keep on doing it because we're in a year. She started 2017. I jumped on 2018. We're about to be in 2022. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, we've never stopped. Like, we never are going to give up. It's just going to keep on pushing until the wheels fall off. And Central might be the avenue or the door that opens up something else great. We might get to a certain place when we be like, yo, like,
Central World.
Yeah, Central World. You know what I mean? And so, go ahead, boss. I know you thought about it.
Oh yeah, I did. I did think about it. And
Speak for the queens out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like first I have to like go into like
She's my boss.
my no, but I really wanted to go into like my family because that kind of ties into like what I want people to understand. So first we're gonna go into my mom. My mom, shout out to my mom. She's the best. And one thing that I got from my mom is being very like understanding and compassionate of other people, and also like having like naharis, that's how they say in Somali. Like it's just like we're all just individuals at the end of the day, and I feel like that's one thing like that I've gotten from her. And I would say like my older sister.
Naharis means sympathy.
Yeah, like sympathy, like
yeah.
really like understanding, like another person in a sense. And I would go like next to my older sister, Kulan. Shout out to Kulan. She like one thing I learned from her is like she's so fearless. She was like one of the first people that I knew that was like would literally do anything that she wanted to do. But it's like again like she didn't have someone kind of guiding her. She just did it. So it's like she's so brave, and she always just like. She's relentless and has so much courage, so that's something I got from my sister. And then my brother, my best friend, it's my dog, and we like have like this very special relationship where we like really connect with the deen, it's like I love my religion more than anything in this world. And he taught me to be very patient, because I'm just someone that I want it right now, but he taught me to be like very patient. So I give that to my brother. And then my little sister, and this is what I really want people to understand is love my little sister, Hibak. She's the dopest ever, and like with her, she is unapologetically herself, and I feel like she understood it at such a young age, and it took me so long to be very accepting of like me, so it's like if I could tell anybody anything today, I tell them forever and always be true to yourself, because if you are true to yourself, you can do anything in this world. And never ever think that something is not attainable, because I could tell you right now that anything that I've ever said I wanted, or anything that I've ever wanted to do, or anything that I've ever wanted to go, I've attained it because I put my mind to it and I made sure that it happened, So it's like I tell them, stay true to who you truly are always, and go after every single little thing that you want, because there's nothing in this world that can stop you but God.
She could write a book.
I love it.
Chapter for every member of the family.
Yeah.
Mom, sister, brother.
You know what she's saying? That I was thinking of that one Beyonce line from she's like, my mom made me, my sister made me,
Yeah, that was good.
I was like,
she
yes.
broke it down. Like you learned something for every. That's
amazing. That's amazing
Yeah.
piece of advice, you guys. Thank you guys so much for
Thank
coming
you for
on.
having
Oh,
us.
thank you guys.
We always like to say that we
was
love
so
inviting
awesome.
people back, because we know you guys are going to continue to grow and aspire, and we want to keep up with y'all. So
Yeah,
we're
as
gonna
y'all
bring
grow,
up-
we trying to grow with y'all.
we're going to grow together. Yes, go
I'm so
ahead.
sorry, but our pop-up finally we want to like
yeah.
tell
let's see it.
everyone
I wanna let you
it's
guys
gonna
talk.
be
You guys got
on
the floor.
December 18th.
Okay.
We will be releasing like the day that the place,
Yep.
but December 18th on a Saturday.
Yeah, you guys heard that December 18th. We're going to have the video released way
Yeah, you
before
guys
then.
heard it
So
here first.
Yeah.
keep up. We're going to link their pages here, Central, and that way you can follow exactly where the location will be and the time and everything like that. But until then, you guys
Tell them
purchase,
the website
follow,
so they can go be.
Central
IG
World,
page. It's going to be Central World.
Central World
Yes.
season 4.
I'm
Be ready.
excited for you guys.
Part
Dreamers,
2.
dreamers.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much.
thank you
We
guys.
appreciate y'all.
Now you guys got to sign the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna have you guys sign the Hall of Fame sweater. So we just started this where we're having guests.
Okay.
I feel bad
Yes.
for people who
Yes.
weren't able to, but it is what it is. So we're gonna have you guys sign that. But yeah, Eat and Talk. Thank you guys so much for watching, everyone, and look out for their pop-up coming soon. Peace.
I can't wait to wear my swag.
Yeah. Oh, and then we'll see if we can get maybe even some footage at the pop-up.
Oh yeah,
With the,
please, yeah, please do that.
Yeah, at least like we can create some things. Do you guys have other social
Make
media
sense.
aside Instagram? Do you guys have a TikTok?
Oh, we have a TikTok. Oh my god, TikTok.
Oh, our
So
TikTok.
much
Oh yeah, I thought that you
fun.
started the TikTok.
We just
Okay.
started. We just started to
Okay.
try to get on our TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to our young people because
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even know either. Yeah, I don't know how to
Oh my god.
stick to
For
the
real.
posting and editing and
Yeah.
let the kids do the rest.
They do it quick too. I'm like, how you do this? They're like,
Yeah,
dum,
how do you
dum,
add the
dum, dum,
music?
Yeah.
How do you do this?
It's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
I'm old school.
No, me too. To be honest, it's hard.
The
Mustafa,
dreamer.
can you take a picture of us real quick?
I like that logo for the dreamer.
There's a lot going on this table. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this was
I
fun.
might have to.
Yeah, hold
I
up
know
the
that
sweater.
drink was so
Huh?
He's
good.
gonna take a picture. Hold up
Oh,
the
yeah.
Central sweater.
I'm gonna give people a high five today. No one is hugging.